Hey folks, welcome back to my channel. This is MahfuzVanGogh, your dredge guy, and today we are back to Modern Phoenix Dredge, or Arclight Dredge if you prefer, because we have Arclight Phoenix. This is our favorite dredge deck coming back from the ashes in Modern. Arclight Phoenix is so good in this deck because if you cast some spells, you have hasty creatures coming for free, and this is so much faster than traditional dredge deck in Modern because all of us saw this before, right? It's turn 3, you resolve Ox of Agonas, and then at the end of the turn you have 3 Narcomoebas, 3, maybe 4 tapped Prize Amalgams. You drained your opponent's life down to 4 or something like that, and then your opponent just win with some Eldrazi or combo kill. Your tapped creatures weren't that fast to win you the game. But now we have Arclight Phoenix with haste, 2 copies of Conflagrate, 4 copies of Creeping Chill, and 4 copies of Lava Dart, and also 3 copies of Witherbloom Command that can drain 2 life from your opponent. Mixing all of this together, we have a really explosive deck that sometimes can even win on turn 2. But we can Goldfish at turn 3 almost every time. If you're new here to this channel, you probably are seeing this for the first time. I will not talk about every little piece of interaction, all of our spells here, because I did this before, but I will call your attention to the differences that I will try today. Today I will play with 20 lands for the first time, because after several tournaments, leagues, repetition with this deck, I decided that 19 lands is not enough. We want to reliably keep dropping our lands until turn 4 to win the game every time. If you skip one land drop, you will probably lose. Even if you have Life from the Loam, or Surveil Land, or a turn 1 looting, even on the play or on the draw, it doesn't matter. Sometimes you just don't find your second land or third land on time, and your opponent, Modern is so fast these days, so you really want to keep pushing your land drops until you win the game. 2 basic mountains, because now we are more confident that we can include basic lands, of course. I still keep 1 mana Confluence because every now and then you start your hand with a basic mountain and you're not sure if your opponent is playing a creature deck, an aggro deck that you need black mana for Dark Blast, or if it's important to have a green mana, you have only 1 fetch land. So mana Confluence sometimes it has its moments. So we could try here an extra fetch land instead of mana Confluence, or an extra Stomping Ground or Blood Crypt, but I still think just 1 mana Confluence is still important for this deck, because we are a giant deck with 2 mana cost spells like Witherbloom Command that costs black and red, black and green. I'm sorry, I'm sleepy here. It was a long day for me. But we are a red deck in our heart. Almost all of our spells are red, but we also want to include cards like this, for example. So just 1 mana Confluence. 2 copies of Bosejo have been amazing in my opinion, especially against those Eldrazi Throne decks. Sometimes I can win games on game 1 against Eldrazi Throne because I have Bosejo in the main deck. Having 2 basic mountains also helps us to finish the game against decks with Harbinger of Disease, because now we can just cast a giant Conflagrate with 2 basic mountains. What about our sideboard? After testing Thoughtseize for a long time, I've been testing Thoughtseize in the sideboard 3 copies, 4 copies, and I decided that, well, this deck doesn't want to play turn 1 Thoughtseize. It's a terrible draw on turns 2 and 3. What we want is more copies of our best answers. And Void Mirror is amazing in our deck against some of the bad matchups that we have in Modern, like Eldrazi Throne, but also some other combo decks. It has been useful for me even against Charbelcher, for example. I had great wins with Void Mirror against green decks with Allosaurus Rider, Neo Brand decks. Collector Oof is just amazing against every artifact deck in the format. Surgical Extraction, well, this is my only piece of doubt here in this sideboard. I want to live the dream of casting a Surgical Extraction targeting my opponent's Atraxa on my own turn, disrupting my opponent's deck, and then also doing my own thing. But I've been, I don't know, maybe I'm getting skeptical about this card, because usually I've been casting Surgical Extractions on my opponent's turn. It's my only instant spell when I cast it, so sometimes your opponent has Thoughtseize to see your hand before committing to their reanimation spells. So maybe instead of Surgical Extraction, we want something more stable that stays on the battlefield. Maybe Leyline of the Void or even Silent Gravestone. But let's keep testing Surgical here for this league. And 2 copies of Ancient Grudge are also amazing. 2 copies of Lightning Axe to have an extra push against aggro decks. Let's do our best in this league. Hopefully we'll have a great result. It's starting right now. Oh, don't forget to click the like button, subscribe, and leave a comment. Come on. Let's see what you think about this deck, which is my new addiction in Magic the Gathering. Let's do it. All right. This is a keep for me. Creeping Shield is not the best card to have in your starting hand, but we have 2 great enablers. And we are on the draw. We have 3 lands. We have access to all of our mana. All the colors of mana we need. My opponent has a Tamio. And we have a Dark Blast. So let's play Wooded Foothills and pass. I don't want to flip my opponent's Tamio for them. Let's wait to see here. I'll probably just get black mana with this Wooded Foothills instead of the Surveil Land. Actually, maybe we don't need black mana to win this game. My opponent is just passing after attacking with Tamio. Let's crack Wooded Foothills and grab our Surveil Land here. Just a free value. Alright, we have a Dredger. Let's put it into our graveyard. Since we don't have Black Enabler in our hand, I mean with a Boon Command, this is probably just better. Okay, now we'll play Stomping Ground, untapped, and let's try to resolve Cathartic Reunion. My opponent might have a counterspell. We'll discard 2 Dredgers, and if they don't, if they have a counterspell, that's fine. We can still play Burning Inquiry next turn, and maybe a Life from the Loam. Okay, they are fetching Watery Grave, untapped. Oh, just Arclight Bowmasters. We probably don't care about Arc here, because we have 2 Dredgers in our graveyard already. So let's Dredge 5. Alright, Dredge 4. We have so many Phoenixes. 2 Phoenixes in 25 cards. Not that many. 2 is good. It's a good number. Let's pass here, right? We have Loam in our graveyard, so next turn we can cast Loam, Inquiry, and probably a Lava Dart. No black mana, but I think Arclight Bowmasters will not be an issue for us. And this is what our deck wants to do. You see, naturally dropping lands. This time we did find a Life from the Loam in our graveyard, but oh, Thoughtseize. That's unfortunate. But sometimes we just don't. And we kept a good hand with 3 lands. Okay, my opponent is thinking here, but there is no doubt, right? The only card that matters here is Burning Inquiry. Unless my opponent wants us to resolve Burning Inquiry if their hand is not that good. Alright, my opponent is attacking just 2 lands. Oh, my opponent doesn't have a 3rd land. So let's Dredge Loam here. And now we can get a black mana. Creeping Shield is good. My opponent now is down to 9. We could also just cast a Faithless Looting here instead of Loam. But no rush, right? Especially if my opponent has a counterspell, we don't know. It is probably better to just target some lands with Life from the Loam here. My opponent is not pressuring us. We are still on a healthy 20 life. Do we want to counter our Life from the Loam opponents? No. Alright. So now we have many lands. We'll even... Let's grab our Blood Crypt. Untapped. Do we mind Arclight Bowmasters here? Okay, let's kill it. Just in case, because we pay 2 life now, but Arclight Bowmasters will not attack us. We can probably win next turn, because my opponent already dealt damage to themselves with Thoughtseize and Fetchland and Shock. Creeping Shield drained a little bit more. So if my opponent don't counter our next spells, we can probably win the game next turn. Just a Psychic Frog? Ribbit. It's not our Psychic Frog, but that's fine. And Psychic Frog can be a terrifying card from the other side of the table when they play it on turn 2. But on turn 4, my opponent is tapped. Oh, have Conflagrate. Yeah. Now let's think here. We have some options. We have some options here to try to win the game. I can cast Conflagrate, Dark Blast, Lava Dart, or just Faithless Looting, Dark Blast, Lava Dart. Psychic Frog can be a blocker for Phoenixes. Let's target Psychic Frog here. It's our first spell. Let's see if my opponent wants to counter that. No, that's fine. Now let's cast a Giant Conflagrate. Targeting my opponent, dealing 7 damage. We could target my opponent dealing 8, but if they have a Force of Negation, I think this is just a little bit wiser. Let's see if they have a counterspell or not. 4 cards in their hand. Okay, we won. What my opponent kept? What else they have? We just attack with 2 Phoenixes. My opponent can block only 1. And we win the game. Yeah, my opponent concedes. MossyMichael. And now... against this opponent, Lightning Axe can be good against a turn 1 Tamio or a turn 2 Frog after some mulligans. But that's it. I don't think we need anything else. Maybe my opponent is playing Grixis and they had no red. And that's why they kept so many cards in their hand. No, for me, it's probably just a blue-black Frogtide with Psychic Frog and Murktide regions. Let's try like this. Okay, this is one example of what I told you at the intro. We have a good starting hand, but only one land. But since we have 20 lands in our deck and we are on the draw, it is probably a keep. But before adding the extra land, I was just skeptical after keeping hands like this and losing to myself, to my own deck. Yeah, and we even drew a Blood Crypt here. So 20 lands is the way to go, guys. Let's cast Faithless Looting. Alright, alright. We have only one Dredger so far, but so many good cards for the next turn. This could be even a win on turn 2 if we manage to find 3 Phoenixes and some Creeping Chills with 2 Burning Increase. Let's see, my opponent attacks us with Tamio, and that's it. Maybe Orc, maybe Counterspell. Let's dredge 3. Okay, we have Stink with Imp there. That's good. Let's fetch green here. Stomping Ground untapped. And let's spin the wheel here and try to have some luck to keep our Burning Increase. Oh, if my opponent has a Counterspell, we'll just cast our second one. My opponent fetches a basic island. Counterspell, alright. So let's try it again. This time is resolving and my opponent's Tamio will flip. Dredge 5. Oh, we couldn't chain Dredgers here. But that's still fine, because we still have Lava Dart and our Aridimisa for the next turn. And Conflagrate. Tamio flipped without going up, so it doesn't matter too much. My opponent is down to 16. We couldn't chain our dredging cards, but we discarded Loam and Stink with Imp, so my opponent plays a Psychic Frog. There are several lines here. Let's go for the most obvious one. Let's just dredge 5, or maybe... Let's dredge 3 here. Let's dredge 3, because now we are playing for a turn 4 finish, not a turn 3. So let's grab a basic mountain here, in case my opponent has a Harbinger. We grab 3 lands. And since we have 2 Phoenix... Oh, my opponent has Force of Negation. Okay, now this Psychic Frog is a sad frog, right? So, okay. Just a 1-2 with a 1 card in their hand. Let's try to kill Frog here, forcing my opponent to discard their last card. And this way we will reanimate. we will get back 2 Phoenixes. So my opponent cannot block with Frog. If they block with Frog, Frog will die. I think this is wiser. Okay, my opponent had a Fatal Push as their last card. So now they are Hellbent. And we'll kill Tamio and have 2 Phoenixes in play. Let's kill Tamio here. My opponent will probably not block, so they will have just a Psychic Frog. They can draw 2 extra cards next turn. But I feel like we are slightly ahead here. They need to draw good cards on their own turn. Tamio is down. They have a 2-3 Frog. They attack. We're down to 15. My opponent has 2 cards in their hand. And that's it. So probably a Counterspell. They are holding something because they could sacrifice the clue to try to draw. Oh, 2 Creeping Chills. Creeping Chills. What can you do now, opponent? They need to get rid of our Phoenixes, but they can't, right? They cannot cast a Fatal Push on Arclight Phoenixes here. And we have a Conflagrate. So let's attack first. We don't have Loam yet to try to get some other lands. But, oh, okay. Let's sacrifice 1 Phoenix. Not that bad. We are still on a healthy 21 life. My opponent needs something better than that. We could just cast a mid Conflagrate targeting my opponent here. But I don't think so. Let's wait. Let's see my opponent's choices now. Frog is such a good card that, oh, my opponent is just discarding Thoughtseize. So my opponent attacks us with the 3-4 Frog. 2 cards in their hand. Frog is so good that my opponent can draw what they need to turn this game on their favor. Burning Inquiry is amazing here. Let's start with the Dark Blast targeting Psychic Frog. This way we'll have a Dredger. And now we'll cast the Burning Inquiry. They have Orcish Bowmasters, alright. So they will try to get lucky here, killing our Phoenix. But we only need a single Lava Dart to get Phoenix back if my opponent... Yeah. Okay, we don't have it. But now we have an extra land. An extra land is good for next turn. So opponent killed our Phoenix. Let's play the basic mountain. We have a Dark Blast there. So Dark Blast, 1 spell. Conflagrate, other spell. And we need a single Lava Dart to win this game. We have 4 copies of Phoenix in our graveyard. We just need to chain our spells. This is something that Phoenix Dredge can do that other Dredge decks sometimes, other Phoenix decks sometimes cannot, which is dredge a card, a spell like Dark Blast or Life from the Loam, to have 1 extra spell in situations like this one. You are Hellbent or almost Hellbent like ourselves here. Oh, my opponent had Cling to Dust, Exciting Creeping Chill. Oh, they needed to draw a card? Well, okay, now we have Lava Dart, so we have the win, right? Let's kill Bowmasters. Let's cast Conflagrate targeting my opponent. The right order here would be casting Conflagrate first, in case my opponent had a Surgical Extraction targeting Conflagrate or something like that. So I'm playing loosely here, but keep that in mind. because sometimes your opponent is holding their last card, might be a surgical or some weird card. Okay, my opponent will draw a card in response. So it's important to start with your sorceries instead of your instants. But that's fine. My opponent has nothing, and we will win on turn 6, proving that our deck is resilient enough to win against one of the best modern decks at the moment. Let's attack with 4 Phoenixes. Yeah, we won 2-0. Let's go to our next match. I want to say thank you to all my patrons that you can see here on this page. Guys, you are awesome, and I can create content because of your continuous support. If you also want to help me as a content creator, please go there, check my Patreon page, patreon.com/thedredgeguy. See you there. Round 2, this is a keep. Again, because now we are playing 20 lands, so I trust my deck now. But I lost several games before with 19 lands and keeping a 1-lander like this one. Oh, we have looting, we'll definitely find our second land. But now I had no confidence before this league, but now I have. And if we don't find our second land, Burning Inquiry maybe helps us to find our second land. So let's keep it, and let's start with Bloodstained Mire, cracking it. My opponent kept 6 cards, Stomping Ground, untapped, ouch, 2 life, and Faithless Looting. Okay, no lands yet, but 2 inquiries. So we'll definitely have a natural draw next turn, trying to hit our second land. Even with 20 lands, sometimes you might not find what you need. So come on deck. Yeah, Mana Confluence, exactly what we want. We already have a Dredger. Let's try Burning Inquiry here. Dredge 5, Dredge 5, and Dredge 3. Now we have Loam in our graveyard for next turn. Oh, my opponent is playing Mages, Wizards, Snapcaster, and 2 Flame of Anor. So let's try to resolve our second Burning Inquiry. Dredge 5, Dredge 5, no Phoenix yet, the first Phoenix, and Dredge 3. Okay, my opponent discarded Tamio, Polluted Delta, and Fatal Push. Our first chill here. We could revive one Arclight Phoenix, but this is so not important at this point of the game. Let's keep our Loam plan for the next turn. Next turn we have Loam, Dart, Dart. Or just Loam, wait to win on turn 4. Being patient is an art. The art of the patience. My opponent has a Scouting Turn, an untapped Steam Vents. Okay, just a trainer finding what? Lightning Bolt. We don't care about Lightning Bolt. We are so good with your choice. Let's Dredge 5. Sorry. 2 extra Phoenixes, which are great. So I think we need to do it, right? We have all of our Lava Darts available. So Loam, Dart, Dart, Dart. And we'll put my opponent down to 2 so they cannot fetch and play a Shockland again. Of course, we don't need to sacrifice all of our lands this turn. But if this Loam resolve, we are so good to win. Let's play our basic mountain, cast a Lava Dart, and recast it, sacrificing our basic mountain. 3 Phoenixes rising from the ashes. This is turn 3, guys. As I told you at the intro, this is like a turn 3 Goldfish. If we had the mountain instead of Mana Confluence, this would be already lethal. But now my opponent is down to 2. They cannot fetch a land. They cannot play an untapped Shockland. They conceded, of course. So fast wins. We are living our dream here this evening. So what now? Lightning Axe can be good again, because my opponent might have some creatures, but this is not the best. This is not an aggro deck, right? We could destroy a wizard in response to a Flame of Anor or something like that. But I feel like our deck is already favored to win against this deck. Let's just submit the deck back. If my opponent has a Graveyard Hate, we have some answers in our main deck against artifacts and enchantments. And if this is just a Surgical Extraction, Surgical is a good card against our deck. Okay, this is also a mulligan. Let's go to 5 for the first time today. Okay, this is a good hand. Let's put Mana Confluence and 1 Cathartic Reunion. Witherbloom Command is so good after sideboarding. Okay, let's try like that. This is a mulligan to 5, but a good one. My opponent kept 7. Steam Vents, untapped. Tamio, alright. Another land is good. Let's play Bloodstained Mire. This will be our Surveil land. Another one. My opponent attacks and passes, alright. Let's grab our... Oh! I'm sorry, guys. I misclicked. I clicked on Stomping Ground instead of Commercial District. That's fine, that's fine. We have good spells in our hand. We just lost a free Surveil. Well, now what? Blood Crypt? I feel like I want... My opponent probably has a counterspell here, but let's cast a Reunion anyways, because we will discard our Dredgers and then we will finally start dredging this game. But I feel like my opponent will just counter... Yeah, Spell Snare. We'll just counter it. And then with a Bloom Command, we'll guarantee us our 4th land. Or maybe we just cast Faithless Looting, something like that. Let's see. My opponent don't want Flame of Anor, which is one of their best cards with a wizard, so I think they need a third land. Yeah, they don't have a third land yet. So Trainer, finding Thoughtseize. Let's cast this command as soon as possible. Dredge 5. Alright, let's cast with a Bloom command here. Draining 2, meaning 3, getting 1 land. 3 for 1. It's like a Dredge 3, get a land, drain 2 life for 2 mana. This card is so good. Let's get Wooded Foothills. Okay, now we'll have our Surveil value. Commercial District, tapped. Oh, Cathartic is pretty good. Let's keep it on top. Just in case if my opponent don't want to cast their Thoughtseize here. If they cast their Thoughtseize... Oh, they cast it. Do I still want to draw Cathartic Reunion here? Now my opponent has 2 lands, they can crack clues. And now they have a Psychic Frog. Are we losing this? Let's draw our Reunion. And now I'll cast Faithless Looting from our graveyard with Flashback. This way we'll have so many good things to do. Oh, my opponent has Flare of Denial. Alright, sacrificing the Trainer. So let's keep the Mountain here. And next turn we will... Maybe I should play the Mountain because we can always cast a Loam. Yeah, to have lands to discard with Cathartic Reunion. Yeah, it would be better to just... Well, you never know. Maybe my opponent just counters our next spell. So let's grab life from the Loam here. Another Looting. Let's try to resolve Loam. My opponent is holding 3 cards in their hand. They can even draw 2 extra cards this turn. We are losing the card advantage sub-game. My opponent has another Spell Snare. Yeah. Okay, let's wait. Since I didn't play that Mountain before, let's keep it. My opponent draws an extra card, plays another land. Thoughtseize, alright. Yeah, maybe my game playing here was not that accurate. I should probably just play that Mountain 2 turns ago instead of holding it. But my opponent now is down to 6. Let's stretch 5 here. Okay, we have Conflagrate, Looting, Dart. I'll play basic Mountain here and cast Looting, leaving an open black mana if we dredge Dark Blast here, so we can... Okay, my opponent has another Flare. But I feel like my opponent's counter spells are... At some point, they are end, right? They get to an end. It's not possible. At some point. They can draw so many good cards, but they will probably draw lands and removal, not only counter spells. Cling to Dust on Conflagrate. This is a good one. My opponent is playing full control. Can we win? So next turn, this time I will probably get Loam again. Okay, my opponent will finally flip Tamio. But they are down to 5. This is so scary because 2 Creeping Chills can finish the game. They are holding Cling to Dust. For open mana, they are holding Cling to Dust. Let's grab our life from the Loam here. So if they are holding Cling to Dust, it's a sign that they don't have counter spells or not that many counter spells anymore. Let's see if they will let us to finally resolve a life from the Loam. Okay, it resolved. Let's play Artemisia to thin the deck, fetching a basic Mountain. And now we'll cast our Faithless Looting. My opponent is thinking they let this happen. Alright, Dredge. We have another Conflagrate there for the future. 2 Creeping Chills. My opponent needs to gain life or to exile one of our Creeping Chills here. We have only 1 Phoenix. They cannot let this happen. They have a Cling to Dust. They can exile our Phoenix to gain 3 life. In this case, they will go down to 2. Or they can exile 1 Creeping Chill here and do something else. To draw an extra card, I mean. Yeah, even against a control deck in a super control mode like my opponent's deck here, this is not an easy spot for them. We are doing so much. Okay, they will cast Cling to Dust here, targeting Phoenix, so they will gain 3 life. They will go down to 2. We have 1 Lava Dart that we can cast at the instant spell at any moment. I will not cast it right now, right? I can cast it right now just to put my opponent down to 1 guaranteed, but I think it is better to have it available for us in the future. My opponent cannot play Shocklands anymore. They can still cast another Cling to Dust next turn. Psychic Frog hits. We are down to 18. My opponent is just attacking, dealing 1 damage at a time. A basic island for my opponent. Oh, Tamio will get Cling to Dust back. So now my opponent has access to 2 Clings in the same turn. Oh, they will cast it one immediately, targeting Conflagrate, alright, because Conflagrate is lethal. That means that my opponent probably don't have a counter spell in their hand, because this was too fast for my taste. We have Faithless Looting, we have Loam, we have Dart, so let's dredge. We have Faithless Looting, right? So let's dredge 5 here, because Phoenix is lethal, Creeping Chill is lethal. And we also have an Arclight Phoenix. What now? My opponent can... Okay, Consign to Memory, good one. And they still have Cling to Dust available. So we have 2 darts, right? Let's start with a Faithless Looting here. We have 2 darts. If my opponent taps their mana to cast a Cling to Dust at any moment, I would just fire 2 lava darts. Okay, it's resolving Dredge 5. 1 extra Phoenix, please, just to be sure. Phoenix will be a 3-2 this turn because Tamio went down. Okay, another one. And extra darts. We are so good to win this game. Creeping Chill. 4 lava darts. Yeah, my opponent conceded. This was just too much. This was just too much to handle. And we won. Another 2-0, guys. We are 4-0 this evening. Let's go to our next match. Round 3, we are on the play. Okay, this is a good hand. We have 2 lands. We have 2 great enablers, lava dart. We have our best treasure. Unfortunately, 1 creeping chill, but that's doable. Let's start with Blood Crypt untapped and Faithless Looting. 2 imps. Great, great. We are playing against CremeFlash. CremeFlash. And our opponent has a basic island and Oslo Pride. We can kill it. Should we kill it now? Or let's just wait since we have Cathartic Reunion here. If my opponent plays a turn 2 Ajani or turn 2 whatever, we can... They will have a free value with Oslo Pride if they have Guide of Souls. But I think we want to spend our turn 2 doing our best here, since we have our Cathartic Reunion, right? And the next turn we can cast Loam, Dart. But let's find our Phoenixes and Chills this turn. Discarding 2 Dredgers, so Dredge 5, 1 Phoenix, Dredge 5, another Phoenix, and Dredge 4, or maybe Dredge 3, just to keep Loam in our hand. Alright, and 1 Chill. My opponent's down to 17. We have already 2 Phoenixes for the next turn. And since we already have our Loam in our hand, we can Dredge 4 next turn, no problem. My opponent has an Arclight, a Guide of Souls, alright, free value for my opponent. And that's it. So maybe my opponent is holding removal, or they just want to find a Surveil land. This is a slow start from my opponent, and we like slow starts from our opponents because we are so fast. Let's Dredge 4. Looting is there. Let's get some... If we feel that we needed to get all of our Phoenixes this turn for some reason, we could cast Looting, Dart, but this will put us in a position with only 1 land at the end of the turn. So let's guarantee our lands, and this way we will have a probably guaranteed win on turn 4. And now I'll just play a land. Well, we don't need to do this right now, right? We could wait. Yeah, we could just pass a turn and do this on my opponent's turn. Let's pass a turn here. I'll not even cast Dart to have our 2 Phoenixes this turn. Maybe this is wrong, but I feel like my opponent is holding removal. So let's take their turn to kill Assault Pride on their turn, I mean. And then on our turn, we can do our best to get our Phoenixes back and maybe win the game. Sacred Foundry and a Ajani, alright. And I like my line here because... Let's kill Assault Pride in response. Because this opponent will probably... Almost every time they have a turn 3 Flage, right? And Flage just kill one of your Phoenixes. And if we had only 2 lands right now, it would be harder to get Phoenixes back on turn 4. This way, we'll just wait a little bit more to get everything on a single turn. We don't need to rush things in if we fear that my opponent will have removal. My question now is my opponent... Will my opponent kill a Cat Warrior token or a Cat token to flip a Ajani? No. Alright. Maybe they don't have removal. Just maybe. Okay, another chill is good. So now he's looting Dart, right? We don't have Conflagrate yet. We don't need that many lands. Let's fetch to thin the deck before casting our next spells. Basic Mountain is good. Now we cast Looting. And maybe we can even finish this with a Dark Blast. Okay, we have a Dark Blast. Another Phoenix is good. I think I'll get a Dark Blast here. Let's discard 2 Dredgers. I will hold 1 Stinkwood Imp in my hand just in case. Let's kill a Cat Warrior token here. And see if my opponent wants to flip a Ajani or not. Okay. We will have 3 Phoenixes here. Ajani is flipped. Let's deal 1 damage to my opponent's Cat token. No rush to finish this. Let's play more control-ish, if that makes sense. And I'll have 3 Phoenixes. I think my opponent is holding up removal. Let's attack 2 Phoenixes on Ajani and 1 on my opponent. We really want to finish Ajani this turn. And since we waited for turn 4 to revive our Phoenixes, yeah, my opponent had removal. So next turn, it will be easier to do the same thing. Maybe Loam plus Conflagrate plus Dart, maybe Dart, Faithless Looting. We'll have some options. Maybe Dark Blast, Loam, Lava Dart. We can do it again on turn 5. My opponent now is sad, with only a sad Guide of Souls, no tokens, no Ajani. If they just cast a Flage, we'll win the game. Voice of Victory. I guess that's fine, right? It's not a blocker, it doesn't fly. And Ragavan, alright. And a tapped land. Surveilling. My opponent has only 1 card in their hand, they don't want Arid Mesa. Guide of Souls is attacking again. My opponent is on 17 life. We are down to 9. Let's see if we can win the game this turn. Dredge 5. Creeping Chill. My opponent is down to 14. We have another Phoenix now. No, it's the same Phoenix. Forget it. Okay, we don't have remaining Creeping Chills. The last one is in our hand. Okay, we have several ways to finish this game right now. We could cast Creeping Chill, sack 2 mountains, dealing 2 damage to my opponent, attack for lethal with our Phoenixes, but I think I'll just, yeah, the last Phoenix is there. Because we are so deep into our deck that we can have just a finish with Phoenixes. It's already good enough. Dealing 1 damage with Lava Dart, another one there, and now we deal 12 damage to my opponent with our Phoenixes. Yeah, different lines to win the game, but so you can choose whatever you feel it's better for your game plan. Okay, against an aggro deck, 2 Lightning Axe with a Bloom Command sometimes is good, according to what we see from the other side of the table, but this card is better on the play, because we can always kill a Ragavan or fight with it. On the draw, it's a little bit worse. So if we lose this game, we can maybe do something different on game 3. One of our best experiences playing this deck is attacking with 4 Phoenixes for lethal. That's why I took that line. Okay, this is interesting. We have a Lightning Axe. We don't have black mana, but I think this is a keep. My opponent kept 7. After sideboarding, the game will be a little bit slower probably, unless my opponent has a super aggro hand. And in this case, we have a Lightning Axe, which is good. Flooded Strand. Okay, my opponent is passing, so slower. They will not commit a creature on turn 1. Let's just cast Looting here, trying to hit another land. We did it, because we are playing 20 lands. Remember that, guys. Let's not be greedy. We can discard 2 Blasts, I think. Let's not reveal Life from the Loam yet. On the other hand, we had no black mana in play, so my opponent might feel confident to play an Assault Pride or something. What do you have, opponent? Arena of Glory, that's scary. Voice of Victory. Okay, we can kill it on our own turn. Let's dredge. No other dredgers yet, only lands on top. I feel like we need to kill it, because if my opponent has a Goblin Bombardment, that would be our nightmare. So we need to kill this now. Let's discard a card here. One. And let's pass. I don't want to rush this Burning Inquiry here. I think it will be better to cast it on turn 3. Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Alright, you got it. We could kill this Goblin Shaman here. I don't think we need to. But we can definitely cast a Dark Blast targeting the Shaman token just to put an extra Dredger in our graveyard, since we have Inquiry in our hand. Just to be sure. Let's dredge. 3. Okay, now I have Sync with Imp, so life is beautiful. We play Boseiju. We have green mana. And now we'll target 3 lands from our deck. We don't need Mana Confluence anymore. And now we cast Burning Inquiry. Let's see if we get lucky here. Dredge 5. Conflagrate is huge. Dredge 4. And Dredge 5 again. Okay, no Phoenixes yet for us. My opponent discarded Flage, Pyromancer, and land. That's scary, because now my opponent can probably cast a Flage with haste next turn. Maybe we just helped our opponent by accident. Let's see. My opponent will discard cards to draw cards, maybe. They already have 5 cards in their hand. They discarded a second Flage and another land. A tapped land, alright. Now they have an untapped land. Oh, this is getting scary. Can we survive for a turn 4 Flage with haste, having no blockers? Can we do that? Can we live to tell this story tomorrow? My opponent casts Flage as expected. So they will hit us for 15 this turn. We'll go down to 6. Is that right? So much damage, to 7. We're down to 7. And now an Assault Pride, and my opponent has a token. They don't have the City's Blessing yet. Let's dredge. We need to have a... My opponent is up to 20 life. We need to have a pretty good turn here. Let's think. I think we need to get rid of Flage if we want to win this game. If we destroy Flage here, Arena of Glory will stay tapped next turn. My opponent can attack us, dealing 4 damage. We are still fine. Yeah, let's dredge Loam here and destroy Flage. Unfortunately, what we need to do. We will not deal 20 damage to my opponent in a single turn. So let's grab some lands here. Play the basic mountain. We have exactly 6 cards in our hand. Let's destroy Flage. Unfortunately, we don't have our Phoenixes. They are shy. Come on, Phoenixes. Like, come on. Show to us. Show yourselves. Reveal yourself to our deck, to our spells. We want to see some Phoenixes. And they are. Reflection of Kiki-Jiki is there. My opponent has 4 cards in their hand. We are still alive unless my opponent has something like Boat. Just a Ajani is fine. And let's remember that if we feel that we need, we can definitely cast a Lava Dart targeting something here. I don't think we need to do that. I think our chances to, of course, to not lose the game now, it's better to just kill Assault Pride, but I think we'll need our lands for the next turn. Because next turn we can cast Loam and Looting, or Loam and Conflagrate. My opponent now has the City's Blessing. They are down to 18, but up to 19. 2 cards in my opponent's hand, and they are passing. My opponent will get several tokens. And can we win this? Can we win this? Loam, chill is a good start. We are go up to 6. Can we deal 19 damage to my opponent in a single turn, starting the turn Hellbent? Can we do it? Let's start with Loam here. So I'll get... We need untapped mana. We already have two mountains. I don't want to fetch, really. Let's save some life here. On the other hand, fetching might be good just to thin the deck a little bit, even if we go down to 3 again. Let's get Blood Crypt. Down to 3, ouch! Faithless Looting, save us! Let's reveal our Phoenixes. Dredge. 2 Phoenixes in the yard. Not good enough. Not good enough. We have 1, 2 darts. We needed to find exactly 4 Phoenixes and 4 darts to win the game. Exactly now. We had a chance, we had a shot. This game was so weird. We are so deep into our deck. We have only 13 cards left. Let's see here. We had a Phoenix, alright. A Chill, right? Dart. Yeah. The good is we're hidden on the bottom of our deck. But let's do better on the play. We could include Witherbloom Command back instead of something else, but I think we just lost due to variance. This is a good matchup for us, and we lost due to variance. Let's start on the play. Again, not the best, but we have Dark Blast, which is so good against my opponents, some of my opponents' starts. And we have a turn 2 Reunion, turn 3 Inquiry, probably. We need to find a Loam first. Guys, if you want to play this deck on your local, at your local game store, or even on Magic Online, remember that Burning Inquiry is our best turn 3 play combined with a Life from the Loam. So Life from the Loam and then Burning Inquiry. And if we still need to do something on turn 4, you always have a Conflagrate to finish your opponent. Okay, my opponent starts with a 1/2 creature, unfortunately. So that means that I will not cast Dark Blast here. Let's just grab our Surveil land. A basic mountain. I think I will keep it on top. This way we'll have guaranteed our best turn 3 scenario. Let's fetch this for black mana. Cathartic Reunion. Hopefully we'll just chain Dredgers here. Dredge 3. Just a Dredge 3. Now we have a Lightning Axe and a second Inquiry in your hand. So in other words, since our deck has so many enablers, good enablers, even when a Cathartic Reunion goes in a bad direction here, like we want to chain Dredgers, right? But usually at the end you still have some good new spells in your deck. So this is something that I like about this deck. Okay, my opponent's start was good. Turn 1 Guide of Souls, turn 2 Ajani. They are back to 20 life. We don't have Dredgers in our... Okay, let's... I kind of want to cast Dark Blast here, of course, but I feel like we need to get rid of Ajani, because it's not guaranteed that we will get Phoenixes to finish Ajani this turn. So let's kill Ajani to be sure that we will have some... Yeah, we have a Loam there, Dart. Now what? Inquiry if we get lucky, or Dark Blast Inquiry? Let's cast a Dark Blast Inquiry, because we still don't have many Dredgers there, so Dark Blast will be our second Dredger. Okay, now we have Dredge 4. Yeah, it was our best choice. Dredge 3. 3 Creeping Chills. Amazing. My opponent's down to 11. Only 1 Phoenix. Do you want that Phoenix now? I don't think so. Oh no, we already had 3 spells. For a moment, this deck is so busted. For a moment, I was thinking here, well, we had two spells. No, we had 3 spells on turn 3. Naturally, 3 1-mana cost spells. I forgot about the Lightning Axe at our upkeep. Lightning Axe, Dark Blast, Burning Inquiry. Phoenix is back. Great. Okay, my opponent has a second Ajani, and that's it. If this is the case, we might just win on our next turn, guys. My opponent stepped. No remaining mana available to our opponent. No removals on site. Oh no, they have a Flooded Strand. Alright. So nothing is guaranteed, but we have 3 darts. My opponent is virtually on 7 life. Let's get Loam here. So we'll get some lands back, just in case. We are on a super healthy 21 life, thanks to our Creeping Chills. Let's fin the deck here. And let's keep Blood Crypt untapped in case we have Dark Blast. I will attack first here. My opponent is down to 7. And I think we will just finish with Conflagrate plus darts, right? Since we already have lethal, let's not put ourselves in a situation where my opponent has another turn. Yeah, let's just win. With 3 darts. This approach is like... it's so exciting. I will sacrifice my lands to kill you. We won. We won against my opponent. 2-1. This was stressful. Let's go to our next match. Round 4, we are paired against JacesArchivist. This is a blue deck. Let's keep this. We are on the draw though, and our hand is a little bit slow. Hopefully my opponent is playing a control deck or not an aggro deck because they are on the play. Oh, basic mountain? Oh no, my opponent kept 7, so they have a fast start. And being on the play on this match, on this matchup is huge. I will not cast my Burning Inquiry here because Burning Inquiry will help my opponent's creature to get bigger. So let's wait a little bit more to cast this Burning Inquiry. My opponent cycles a Street Wraith. We don't have a turn 1 removal, we kept a slower hand. And on my previous experience, guys, playing against HollowVine is like flip a coin. If you start on the play, you have so much advantage. But starting on the draw against this fast start is so bad. My opponent already have a 5-5 in play. Oh no, do they have a HollowVine? Yeah. Ooh, so bad. Another one. We are so losing this game. And we have only a scouting turn. This is untrue. This was so good. Okay, let's grab Blood Crypt. We are not dead yet, but I need to play this Stomping Ground, unfortunately. With a Boom Command cannot destroy HollowVines. Do even show to our opponent what we are playing? Let's do it, right? We could concede here, but let's drain 2 and mill 3, getting 1 land back. But yeah, not a great scenario. I can get Boseiju back here just to threaten to destroy a HollowVine. But we were on the draw with a slow start. Yeah, not great. My opponent has 13 damage coming in. We are down to 14. So we'll go down to 1. Is that right? We are down to 1. If my opponent has a burn spell, we will lose. No? Alright. Sync with Imp. We cannot fetch. We need to cast another with a Bloom Command here just to gain life, enough life to have Arid Mist available to us. We don't have Dredgers yet. Our Sync with Imp was 1 card deeper than we wanted. Okay, we have 1 Dredger there, but no chills. We are up to 3. So let's fin the deck. Crack Scouting Turn. Down to 2. Basic Mountain, Burning Inquiry. My opponent's Mako will get bigger. Dredge. Dredge. We need to find Phoenix and Dart. Okay, no Lava Darts. Yeah, we lost. Whew, and my opponent has Vengevine. So my opponent is a HollowVine deck, and they had such an explosive start. So now we will be on the play, but this is still a hard matchup for us. Not hard, this is balanced actually. Ancient Grid can get rid of some HollowVines. Lightning Axe can get rid of 10-1 creature or HollowVines. Conflagrate is just slow against this opponent. We can take 1 Thug since Dark Blast has text. Maybe 2 Thugs here. I will not try to include Surgical Extractions against my opponent's Vengevines. As we saw, my opponent won even without Vengevine. We just want to have a fast start, but with some removal to my opponent's first creatures. We are on the play now. And yes, I would like to play first. No lands. Oh, first bad mulligan here. No Dredgers. But I feel like we need to keep it, right? We have a Lava Dart, which can be an answer to my opponent's first Mako. Let's grab a Surveillant here, probably. My opponent kept 7 cards. Street Wraith, so no Mako this time. Bloodstained Mire. Cracking it for basic mounting. And Burning Inquiry now. So let's try to be lucky here. If we have our commercial district revealing a Dredger, we can advance our own game plan. Just a Faithless Looting. Let's keep it on top. At least we will have more chances to have looting available to us next turn. Okay, we discarded Lava Dart. My opponent discarded Vengevine. Yeah, and a Blazing Root Walla. Oh no, if my opponent has a HollowVine, they will get a turn 1 Vengevine. Oh no, hopefully they don't have a HollowVine. Oh, they do. Of course they do. Okay, it happens, guys. Sometimes we have busted starts. I have busted starts all the time, so it happens. And I approve hasty creatures. I so approve it. Now what? Oh, is my opponent playing something else? No, alright. We have a Lightning Axe, okay? But no Dredgers, so it doesn't matter too much, right? So what? Lightning Axe, looting and darts just to have our Phoenixes as blockers? This game plan is so bad. I'll grab a Blood Crypt here, just in case we draw exactly Dark Blast. No, the Creeping Chill, all right. Well, Phoenix can block a Vengevine, right? Let's discard Creeping Chill. We have Boseiju for a future Hollow one. But this is so bad. This is not what we want to do. Oh, my opponent has Surgical Extraction. My opponent had a great turn 1 with Vengevine, Hollow 1, Blazing Root Wola, and also a Surgical Extraction. Guys, this happens. This happens all the time for us and for our opponents. So that's fine. This is the game. This is the game we love. And now we need to deal with our opponent's creatures, but we don't have... I'm not sure if I even casting Lava Dart here. We don't have our Phoenixes. Surgical is really good against our deck, but usually our opponents with Surgical Extractions are not that fast. So we can still win with a Conflagrate game plan, plus chills, plus darts, maybe commands. But now what? My opponent is tapping the mountain. Detective is Phoenix, so their Vengevine will get bigger. We'll go down to 5. We can play Sync with Imp as a blocker, and I think this is our best game plan. It flies and it kills. Let's play Sync with Imp as a blocker. We are down to 4. Now what? Stomping Ground, untapped, Goblin Lore. So my opponent wants to find, okay, another Vengevine and 2 Blazing Root Wallas. Oh no. Yeah, this is the nail in the coffin. Let's concede here. Okay, my opponent had great start and I love Hollow One, so it was good to see this deck in action. Let's go to our final match, guys. Final round, we are on the play. We like that. We're playing against FunkyScribz. This is a mulligan, too slow. This is so much better. Let's skip it. We have a little bit of everything in this hand. This is almost a perfect hand. We have Surveil, we have our 2 best enablers, turn 1, turn 2. We have a removal spell, we have removals to artifacts or enchantments. This is fine. It's a little bit slow because we will start with a Surveil land. And considering everything, I will keep this on top, because we don't know what my opponent is playing, and guaranteeing your 3rd land on turn 3 is better than just trying to dig. You see, every time you are, if you decide to play more aggressively, right, for example, no, I don't want this basic mountain, let's do it, and then you just draw a Creeping Chill or something. So it's better to just guarantee your 3rd land and go from there. My opponent played just a Wooded Foothills. So let's play slow here with our Withered Bloom command. We don't know yet what my opponent is playing, and we have only a Dark Blast. Okay, we had 2 Creeping Chills on top. So my opponent is down to 12, at least 11 at the end of this turn. And this is the beautiful thing on casting with the Bloom command, choosing the draining mode. Because you see, only 2 Creeping Chills, but my opponent is already on 11. So we are so close to finish this game, even without dredging so far. My opponent played Blood Crypt, untapped, down to 9. And, oh, Fear of Missing Out. This is a Hollow One, a different build of Hollow One, probably. My opponent discarded Nethergoyf. I'm actually not familiar with this current build. I remember playing a lot against this deck last year, but I'm not sure about how up-to-date builds of decks with FOMO are playing. So let's cast Cathartic Reunion here, discarding Dark Blast and Scalding Tarn. I think we don't need this 4th land now. We'll probably just cast Looting or Inquiry after that. My opponent don't play Counterspell, so we couldn't reach much more here. We don't have any other Dredgers. And we have 12 Dredgers, but so far only... Okay, now now we have them. We don't have Phoenixes yet. This hand was so good, but variance is a thing, right? So no Phoenixes yet, and my opponent has a FOMO there. Only 3 card types so far. I don't think my opponent can deal 25 damage in a single turn from this position. So we are probably good to resolve at least 1 Burning Inquiry next turn. My opponent played a fetch land. Can you imagine it next turn? Loam, Inquiry, Dart, finish the game. Oh, my opponent has another fetch land down to 6. My opponent is playing with fire. And a Flage, alright, so up to 9. But this is still a pretty bad scenario for my opponent, because this is turn 3 and my opponent has only a 2-3 in play without Delirium. Maybe this is not Hollow One, maybe this is just Mardu good stuff. So Dredge 5, Loam, getting Boseiju, just in case, the Stomping Ground and whatever. And now, I'll play Scalding Tarn, correct it for a basic mountain here. And let's resolve our... we could also cast just a Conflagrate here, right? Conflagrate into Conflagrate, but this will not be lethal. And this Burning Inquiry might be lethal. Dredge 3, Dredge 5, 1 Phoenix, 1 Dart, great. Dredge 3. Chill is good. We have our remaining Burning Inquiry in our hand. My opponent discarded, oh, Hollow One, Torfire, and Nethergoyf. So we are doing good stuff here. Dredge, another chill. Dredge. Yeah, we have lethal. We have a wow. We have 4 lava darts here. We don't even need Arclight Phoenix, guys. This is just a dart dredge, not Phoenix dredge. We don't need Arclight Phoenix to win. Woof. All right, we won. Oh, and this is a good thing to remember in the future, because sometimes people say to me here on this channel, like, Mahfuz, this is not a great deck because it doesn't have enough creatures. How can you win against other decks if you cannot have your Phoenix back, for example? My opponent is telling me here that they don't know what I'm playing. Like, what kind of are you playing? I told them that this is my deck, Phoenix Dredge. Do we need anything different here? If you think about what my opponent has, probably Lightning Axe is a good addition to our deck. I'm not sure what to take from our deck, because this is more of a mid-range deck, right? This is not like energy. But sometimes our opponent might have a turn 1 creature that we need to deal with. So let's do our sideboard the same as we did against energy. 1 thug. No, not the same, because we kept a Conflagrate against energy. But, well, it's similar. Okay, this is already a pretty good hand. Similar to our previous hand here, we have a not so good Creeping Chill. We don't have Dredges yet, but we have Looting, Reunion, Inquiry. We'll probably start with our Commercial District here. My opponent has a mulligan to 6, so they start with a Surveil land. Elegant Parlor. They don't want their second land, so they might have enough lands. And we draw. Loam is good, our first treasure. In that case, let's ignore Commercial District for now. Even if we don't find us a third land, we can always play Commercial District and cast a Burning Inquiry on turn 2. Oh, my opponent told me here, I've never seen it, but it's really good apparently. I thought Hollow 1 was fringe. I'm having a great time evolving it. Let's grab our Blood Crypt. And now we start with Faithless Looting. Okay, Boseiju is good. So we have all the colors of mana on turn 2. We have Dart, we have Reunion, we have Inquiry. My opponent wants to know more about our decks, so I'm telling them, maybe you might want to check my YouTube. And it's a new build, so it's okay to not know what is going on, right? Before recording this league, I played another league yesterday with 19 lands yet, a little bit of everything, something different from this build. But I had 2 or 3 opponents asking me, what is that? So is this a mix of Dredge and Arclight Phoenix? How can it work? Well, I can show you. I can show you how can this work. Well, my opponent had a Looting and now Blood Crypt and Hollow 1, paying 1 mana. All right. This is a super fair start for our opponent, and we even have an answer to Hollow 1 for the future if you want to. But, 2 Phoenixes and a Conflagrate. I think my opponent had a rough start. They needed to say no to Arclight Bowmasters and Lightning Bolt. They have only a 4/4, so I think I will just do my own thing here. Let's cast Cathartic Reunion. I'm not smelling Graveyard Hate from my opponent. Yeah, let's do it. I'll discard Loam and Creeping Chill, keeping Inquiry and Dart for the next turn. So Dredge 3, Dredge 5, Dredge 5. This is only turn 2, guys. And we found 2 Creeping Chills. We have 2 Phoenixes, 1 Giant Conflagrate for the next turn, if we want to. We already have the win for next turn. My opponent needs to find something pretty good on turn 3. If they only cast a Flage and pass the turn attacking for 4, we'll probably win the game. As I said at the intro, our deck can Goldfish turns 3, wins on turn 3, better say. Our deck, English, our deck can Goldfish, wins on turn 3 with some ease. My opponent said that our deck is awful to play against. Yeah, I know. It is incredibly fun. And if you watching this also wants to start playing this deck, I can guarantee you, this is so fun. I mean, I played with Hollow 1 strategies in the past, but I'm having so much fun playing Phoenix Dredge. Yeah, my opponent is a Hollow 1 enthusiast. But this is a cousin. Our deck is your cousin. You can play with Arclight Phoenix if you want to. So my opponent is tapping Blood Crypt for red. They might have something on white here. Nethergoyf, a giant Nethergoyf, that's fine. It doesn't have haste, so we're good. We are on a healthy 23 life. Another land for my opponent. Down to 2 cards. If my opponent fetches that, they are down to 10. We already have lethal here. Conflagrate, Dart, 2 Phoenixes are lethal. Let's see what my opponent can have. So Dredge 3, nothing special there. Can my opponent be holding an answer to our graveyard? As I said, I'm not sure about what my opponent is playing, so I'll play conservatively here. Let's just grab some lands back, and I'll resolve my Burning Inquiry. Okay, it's resolving fast, so my opponent has nothing. Dredge 3, only that. Oh no. But it's fine, because we have even another Phoenix in our graveyard. So let's cast Lava Darts, targeting my opponent, down to 10. And 3 Phoenixes, my opponent will go down to 1, unless they have a removal spell. They had an Arclight Masters into 1 Lightning Bolt and 1 land before our Burning Inquiry. Can they destroy a Phoenix here? No? Alright. Alright, guys. My opponent cannot fetch. And we have the win next time. Oh, Burning Inquiry, we have the win this turn, probably. We just need a Creeping Chill or a Dart in our graveyard. Dredge 5, Phoenix, Dredge 4, Dredge 3. Okay, we have 2 darts and 1 mountain, so we have the win. My opponent conceded. Yeah. You see, this deck, my opponent's deck is similar to, this is our result for 1. It's similar to our previous opponent, a little bit more mid-rangey than. So what we learned about our deck today, guys, I'm having a blast playing this. When I first built this new version, new build of Phoenix Dredge 1 month ago, 3 weeks ago, I got 2 trophies pretty fast in less than a week, playing just a little bit with the deck, and I was super excited, thinking that, well, we have a tier 1 deck. And this is obviously not a tier 1 deck, because it has some points to improve. Of course, we are, as we saw on round 4, we are pretty soft to surgical extractions, which might me think that we probably want Silent Gravestone instead of surgical extraction here on our sideboard. So Silent Gravestone is a great card that will help us against the reanimatory strategies, but also against surgical extraction. And it just stays there. Not everyone is playing removal to artifacts, especially against our deck. No one expects an artifact in strategies like this. So maybe it's just better than surgical. Surgical wasn't that good in this league. We were not facing any other graveyard strategy besides HollowVine. But well, what else? I think the shell is great. This deck is so fun, guys. It is so fun. Even if you don't play Dredge, if you're not a Dredge player, if you never played Arclight Phoenix before, you'll have a blast playing this. Just winning out of nowhere, and sometimes having difficult lines, trying to think how to survive 1 extra turn, and then winning, dealing 15 plus damage on a single turn to your opponent. One question that remains, compared to traditional modern Dredge, is this better or not? I think today, after playing so many different Dredge strategies in Modern, I would say that this is a little bit better than traditional Dredge decks in Modern. But maybe I'm just a proud dad. I like this deck so much. Having less... You see, because the Dredge package, including Narcomoebas, Oxophagonas, Pressed Amalgam, Goals, or Bloodgas, the package is so tight, it's so difficult to get 1, 2, or even 3 cards out of this package. And when you just change that to include only 4 copies of Arclight Phoenix, 1 extra Conflagrate, you can even play with 12 Dredgers. It's so good to play with 12 Dredgers. And the full playset of Life from the Loam, this is also so good. And then you have space to include cards like Witherbloom Command. Main deck Boseiju, something that every Dredge player always wanted to include main deck answer to cards like Line of the Void or Ghost Vacuum, Gravedigger's Cage, you see? With Life from the Loam and this. That's why I think this deck is slightly ahead of traditional Dredge decks. But maybe it's just me, I don't know. Let me know your comments and answers to this question here on the comments below. On the next video, we will go back to Legacy. Let's keep pushing our favorite archetype in Legacy. And hopefully you stay here with me for our next videos. See you soon. Bye.